wants the link, I can forward the. You can contact me in the email. Um, um, I can uh, I can try to send them the link of the recording, perhaps. So let's begin. So we are talking about a webinar which speaks about, let's say, the goals which you would like to set during the New Year time. But it's not a 1 day process. Though it is a catchy one line, set your goals for 2025. It's not like a such a kind of process, like it's a process. Like I always, some of the examples I used to say is everything like a health goal or a kind of habit. Everything with Ayurveda is a habit, and the kind of lifestyle changes which you want to uh, absorb into your life, that gets into the rhythm or into the fly, just like an aeroplane. It doesn't take off like a rocket. So it's a gradual, everyday process which puts you at one point of time to lift off from the previous habits and make you uh, fly high. So don't expect to be 100% 100% from the first day. That's where um, that's where the kind of sometimes the failure happens from the over expectation. We will come to that point as well. We will discuss more related to goal setting rather than even the knowledge about the other areas of Ayurvedic points. But because I think this is the time I can explain about motivation of motivation to set a habit. Because I do presentations all through the year many times, and it's more than the knowledge which I like people need to absorb. It's the motivation what they need to absorb, the kind of push they need to receive through the time, through the year. So I think that's a highlight we would like to I would like to talk about. So just a moment, I will once again look if anybody is in the waiting. Not really, not really. So okay, good. So we here I would like to first start with, there is a distinction between Ayurvedic habits or Ayurveda as a holistic approach. So talk about the holistic approach, we because Ayurveda is a kind of science which is holistic, which it deals with your mind and spirit and then the body. So it's like a, if you imagine a kind of a tower, the top the most important, the base is your soul or spiritual strength, and from which you derive the values which guides you to make decisions in your life journey. So it's like people like to become, for example, vegetarians, or people become at some point of time they like to be more compassionate to themselves, more than to be others, more than to be compassionate to others. It's more compassion towards you, and identifying the kind of righteous path for them, the motivation through spirituality. So where that is the kind of base from which I think you need to derive your goals. So if you derive a goal from your values, it will it will stay with you for very long time. So it's very contradictory sometimes when you see a yogi toasting toasting a wine glass, sometimes it doesn't match. Sometimes, sometimes it doesn't match. But I'm not saying that everybody has to be, non-alcoholic or something, but that's the point where you are talking about a value you need to follow. And of course, I myself, even though I I profess this, not saying that I'm perfect in everything, or it's not about anything, anybody to be personally pointed out or anything like that. But the way to put out our goals for a new year, or kind of resolutions which we make, if it aligns with your values, if it connect with your inner calls, this is what I would like to say, inner calls, that can be the best way to make a kind of uh, strategy, the thing to follow in all through your life. So it's like ongoing process, and it doesn't have any kind of stop, like, it is persistent. So it's a kind of transition, life transition, which we need to look for, rather than a uh, kind of a goal from A to B, kind of point A to point B. You go, rather than that. That influences in everything. For example, if you want to lose weight, you rather than losing weight, if you're a vegetarian and your values aligns with that vegetarianism, and avoiding the kind of rajasic tamasic kind of food, which is not influencing positively for your mental health and body health, that gives you a quite easy base to follow through all through your life. And that is also the transition. Rather than looking to lose weight, you look more like a holistically, and look for example, positive health outcome. That is the kind of goal, that is the kind of value you want to derive. So you don't that's better for everything. So here, for a definition, it's like specific, measurable things are goals, and core beliefs and principles which can guide you to make the decisions is values. And by nature, it is long term and intrinsic. So intrinsic, everybody has values, everybody has their values. So it's not that everybody is perfect, but everybody has, there is a lot of strong personal values, or it can be various things. Values can be in different forms, that is, can be spiritual, it can be personal, it can be social, it can be different things. So we could also look at that even. So value is like health is a lifestyle. In Ayurveda, this is the sentence I want to round around. What I want to say is health is a lifestyle. So don't take it as just a goal. Take it as a lifestyle, which is like, you can have its goals like a milestones, but it is something which you need to practice overall well-being and balance in life. And examples like self-care, compassion, for example, that has to be like understood for taking care of yourself mentally and physically, or otherwise it will be like meditating for 10 minutes daily, like, so rather than just putting 10 minutes of time frame, it's about putting a kind of explanation to yourself that I will take care of myself mentally and physically. So that is the, with nutrition, we discussed the foods have different types of energy, valuing the whole food, which is having a kind of sattvic background or bio background, which is not artificial. So compared to the goal, which is like two servings of vegetables in a kind of meals, the last at least 5 days a week, this can be a kind of beginning. Like if you're a beginner and you still have a kind of jump start, you can make still this as your as your level of plan. But still, as a whole, you should visualize yourself as a per view. You should think valuing the nutrition and energies which comes out of it. For a kind of community point of view, if you derive a kind of value for community value, for example, emphasizing the importance of social connections for mental well-being, doing positive things, so sattvic behaviors, encouraging more sattvic behaviors like compassion and positive approach to other people, getting out of all the kind of negative emotions, that really can improve your mental health. So more than just developing a kind of local walking group and developing some kind of participation in different group 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 activities. So this is the difference between. So next, I want to say about something like why these goals fails. So you understand that now. Okay, once again, I will just once check if anybody is still there. Anybody wants to come? No. Okay. So here we. Sorry. Why the health goals fails? This is a kind of a good uh, question or kind of understanding which we need to have. So why it fails? It is unrealistic expectation. First of all, we keep a kind of setting very high ambitious targets and we pressurize ourselves and we look for a kind of rapid results, which is like almost impossible. Let's say, for example, people think about losing I don't know 10 kilos per sorry 4 kilos or 5 kilos in a kind of month time or even more than that. But in a normal case, what you can lose kind of every monthly basis, it's about between 1 kilo to 2 kilo maximum. You can, that is the healthy way of losing weight, about 400 grams of body weight per week is what realistically you can expect. So you need to understand that this is there are every goal which you prepare, you need to learn about it very well and try to have a kind of scientific understanding about what can be the realistic and healthy way of setting that target. People who are having a kind of for example, beginners for exercises, they rather tell themselves that they don't need to run the marathon at once. They need at least 1 month training. Even if you want to run a kind of 5 kilometers of marathon, that's where you can aim at. Okay, you can have a coach. Sometimes these days the coaches are also unrealistic sometimes. So I'm not. I have sorry. I don't like to criticize anyone, but sometimes to put yourself with a kind of scientific understanding, not by any kind of criticism or kind of not by just push, rather understanding realistically what is the kind of expectations from a body, from your body is very important. So and also individual health is very important, because everybody cannot perform every activity, and with the age we have limitations, but still doing the activity very constantly and consistently is important. Whether you have joint pains or something or anything, you need to find the way to do the activity, or keeping the goal going, not stepping backwards is not the point. Okay, next is lack of specificity. This is another the second reason: vague goals without clear steps. So you must be, like I said, after understanding the kind of that after understanding the kind of um, realistic expectation, making the realistic expectation, you should plan a kind of clear step. clear goal and clear steps. That is important as well. So you can, for example, getting healthy, this is a value which you want to have, but still, to realize that value, you must have to execute this specific step, that is, let's say, 30 minutes of walk daily, or let's say even, you can make it smaller and smaller, how much you can realistically make. For example, 3 times a week is a kind of almost possible for everyone. Make it to 4 times, and make it for 4 to 5 times, and make it more than 30 minutes, and that can be kind of an example, but it should be precise, it should be clear, it should be possible to work it out. So here there is also a lot of things comes around the habit formation. Habit formations are like, what what kind of behaviors stay with us, so as a habit. So initially it is difficult, so you must have to understand that as well, but still it needs to be specific, it needs to be precise. Inadequate planning, no actionable plan on or strategy. So we discussed about the goal, and then steps has to be very clear and precise. Today, this week is this week is this week is this, and next week, next month, I will do this strategy. Uh, but of course, you don't need to be over pressured by everything, but still, there will be failures for this, that is of course possible, but still, if you don't have a plan, that that never works. Poor motivation, externally driven goals, and lack of intrinsic motivation. This is why I told about the kind of intrinsic motivation, that is coming from our values. If you can derive a kind of goal which is connecting with your values, that is more helpful. For example, somebody is interested to learn about Ayurveda, for example. So, and that is a kind of intrinsic motivation which will help you to uh, get you to a kind of goal of cooking Ayurvedic recipes, for example. So the learning helps us. Learning is the intrinsic motivation. Goal is like, at the end, or every week, this many meals to make. Or for me, it can be presentation sometimes to do for you, or people who are enthusiastic for Ayurveda. So for me, that helps also to improve myself, to treat, to explain people many questions which comes up. Also makes me think, and that motivates me to study more, or learn more, to go on this in this path. So there is a kind of intrinsic motivation. We need to connect with a kind of goal. So I present every 2 weeks a webinar, for example, that is my goal. And then my intrinsic motivation is just learning rather than only presentation or anything else. Lack of support system. We need to have a support system. These days there is a lot of encouraging applications, for example, trackers, watches, everything. Or it can be a kind of group activity, so you can have a kind of accountability partner, a person who will tell you, you didn't do it, you must have to do this week. Or a kind of, these days people join to courses to study, so there you are bit forced, like a trainer who trains you for exercises or anything like that. So there should be a kind of support system which will push you a little bit, and also a kind of suggest you things which will, for example, guide you. So, for example, I will give you an example that every 3 months, once you can come for an Ayurvedic consultation, for a visit, at least, if you don't have a health issues, let's say, because there are kind of climate changes, the seasonal changes, not climate changes. There is a seasonal change always happening, and the seasons are changing. At least you have we have in India 6 seasons, but here 4 seasons, at least 4 into 3, 12. So 3 times when the seasons change, we advise in Ayurveda to change your diet, your lifestyle, according to your body type, according to your uh, health conditions. Some people have health issues which has to be addressed in different ways in different seasons. So always, yes, advice from a clinician or a kind of Ayurvedic practice. This is also kind of a support system which I also provide in different places. So yeah, I didn't tell that. Thanks for everyone who signed up. Some are from Latvia, some are from Luxembourg. I see some people maybe from Slovakia or any other places where I work. I have not seen much, but for everyone, Happy New Year. And inconsistent habits. It's about struggling to maintain new behaviors, lapses due to stress or life changes. This is impossible to change, the stress and life changes, but picking it back, this is what the most important thing. So new behaviors, I will give you a few explanations about habit formation. That is the area where you need to learn how to develop a habit. So it is said to be, sometimes they say it is 21 days it needs to develop a new behavior. You need to do it 21 days without stop, without a break. Then without resistance, if you don't if you get the things done without any kind of a reward system, if your brain is able to do that activity, then you are already developed, you have developed that habit. So this is the kind of 21 days. These days some people say it can go up to 200 days or even without stop. So it can be varying for different people, mm, different habits. But it's there are also steps which I maybe I will, when I if I have the time, I will also explain you some techniques which can be helpful to maintain new behaviors and habit, how to form a habit. Yes. So not tracking the progress, so failing to measure and celebrate the milestone. So this is where the reward system happens. So when you see in your watch, I walked up to this much kilometers, or I did this activity, or you did this marathon or something like that, those kind of small or big milestones, you need to at least recognize and at least motivate yourself as a kind of measure what you did. Every step counts, that's what I would say. Every step you do counts. So that is a kind of, every step counts, and everything which you motivate yourself is going to be a reinforcement for your habit to pile up. So for example, you go for a kind of you don't find time, for example, to go for a walk, but you find a time just few minutes after your, sorry, immediately after your breakfast or lunch, usually after lunch, instead of standing there and chatting or smoking, you could go for a walk around your building. It can be even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, can be smaller, but that is reinforcing your small steps, which is going to reinforce your habit to go for your motivation to derive the habit of going for a walk every day. So this is what I tell to people who doesn't have time, who says that they don't have time. So okay, psychological barriers. So negative self-talk, limited mindset, that it's like I'm going to fail, and I mean, people before they start, they say that I'm going to fail. So what is the point of starting the goal if I will fail? Why I should start this goal? You must say that uh, the failure and success, all of you have realized that all over your years of life, you have faced it, but you never fall and lie down there. You gather yourself up and then move forward. So every fall is like, is like a kind of just before your rise. So it's not a thing to fear about or judge yourself about. So this judgment thing you should stop, clearly stop. And negative mindset about these failures. So never fear about failing in a kind of health goals. Rather, you need to have a kind of acceptance and also resilience to get up and move fast. Clarity, motivation, this we already um, we discussed. And adaptability, so this is important as well, this point, because it allows you to adjust yourself. So adaptability is important. One goal, even if you fail one day, you have another time to do it. So that adaptability, or kind of finding a kind of flexibility inside yourself or in your routine, you should practice. So there should be a kind of buffer times where you could still practice or do things where you can you have the possibility to adjust your goals. This we discussed already, but this is more like in a kind of food specific. So here we are giving, I'm giving just a example. Okay, here we are talking about smart goal concept from George T. Doran. Basically it was for a kind of management protocol, for mm, more like it is being developed for productivity part. It's not really like a medical kind of goal setting kind of idea concept, but he made this concept for management goals basically. So goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So here you need to eat one plant based meal per day. I will log my meals daily. Most people can add vegetables side or in the side or salad to their meals, but during the winter, it is better to have cooked vegetables. I want to eat more plants for my health and planet this year. Set for a duration for 1 month and make a grocery on a kind of day, particular day. For example. So we discussed this a bit already, but yes. So what will help you? Other things to say: family and friend support. We discussed already. Seek outside assistance. This is already I told you. Um, Sometimes something is coming. What barriers may make it difficult? So not enough time. This is true that we are also having a lot of busy schedules. But you need to differentiate between whether it is enough time, not enough time, or is it a distraction? Is it a distraction or not having, really not having time? I would say you need to, if it is necessary, you need to club it into smaller pieces, fragments. Like I said, after the lunch, go for a walk. After dinner, short walk. Immediately after breakfast, sorry, just before the breakfast, or a kind of morning routine at one time. Short morning routine at one time. We will also broadly say about it when the dinacharya process will come, so that you stack up or a kind of compress all of them, like in a kind of sandwich many activities at one time, and that will be a kind of good habit formation. So for example, when you wake up, immediately go to toilet and then brush, and then wash your face and nasal drop, eye drop, or ear drop, or then do the gargling, then do a bit of pranayama. That comes in a kind of in a kind of sequence, like a chain of activity that will be more easier to be followed, and that sandwich can go always in one go, and that can be shortened or widened based on your time availability. So habit will stay, but the time duration can be stretched. So where that will be a kind of good way of balancing between habit formation and the time management. Lack of resources. So if you are not able to have a kind of resources to understand what is good habit, what are the necessities, you need to. But these days it's, yeah, no support system we discussed, not know where to start. This is something which can happen. Where to start, it's a real problem. So basically where to start is where you are now. It's simply saying in a funny way, but understanding where you are now is also something which can be helped by a kind of trainer or a kind of practitioner like me, or anyone who can guide you, qualified people. And I think above everything, the barrier which is which makes you not able to make it difficult is only you. It's only you who stands in between, and your decision whether it is intrinsic or extrinsic. For example, the motivation, if it is intrinsic and extrinsic, there it comes, like, you know you want to lose weight just for showing up to people, or a kind of social pressure, or my family says that I have to lose weight, or kind of some other social pressure makes me to think like this. But if I say it is for my health, it's a different approach. I make that goal as my own, and it becomes like a value to me, that is adding value to my life, my vision, my own self esteem. That is important than what comes out through the eyes of the society. So I think there is another big barrier which you need to break. So that's where, why you need to make this change. Improve health, feel better, more confident. These are examples. Actually, you need to ask these questions as such once at least before making a goal, because you need to find enough reasons to do it. That's the reason. These are kind of examples of reasons, but you must find a time. You must find reasons why you need to do it. So that's you. Everybody has a kind of reason to do the habit, developing a good habit, or kind of health, positive health regime. That it changes from people to people. So yes. So how to form habit? This is a bit written here. Um, Reminder, routine, reward system. So uh, there is a cue. For example, traffic light turns to green, and then the action you take is a kind of drive the car, and benefit you gain is by doing this habit you get to your closer destination. So it's a positive reward system which puts you to a kind of reminder routine, and getting a kind of motivation to go through it and derive the routine. So one way of making our uh, brain to be motivated is visualizing the positive outcome which will come. So that is where I'm asking you to write down what it will. So the it's basically dopamine, and it is proven. It's basically the work of dopamine. It's proven in a kind of scientific studies. This is the one habit forming strategy, visualizing what can be the reward, what you will get after doing that habit, developing that habit. Visualizing it every time produces some amount of dopamine in your brain, which will make your brain happy, feel happy, and every time that circuit of reward system will be always uh, activated when you think about that behavior. So here we already discussed. So if you talk about a balanced nutrition, it's about goal is to incorporate 3 different seasonal vegetables into your meal each week for one next month. 3 seasonal vegetables you are going to pick. Track the number of different vegetables used. You need to write down like a food journal. But this is not so important, but still, if you really is away from everything, you must have to. This is the kind of fundamental. Obtainable grocery planning, relevant, that it supports a dosha balance because it is the seasonal. We will discuss also some seasonal vegetables and stuff for 1 month, we say. So 21 days is what they say to derive a kind of desirable habit formation, but still you can think of 1 month, because there can be some days you may skip, you may not be able to um, do that habit. So it's okay, you need to forgive yourself. You just start from the again from this list of things, goals which you want to achieve. So make it like 4 or 5 goals maximum, very precise. 3 or 4 goals at least maximum. And then 20, after 21 days or 1 month, you could say, you could observe yourself. If you are able to do it without this pressure which you used to feel, then you're almost there. If you are able to do it without any kind of time period restrictions, like let's say there is a kind of for example, if I'm used to go for a walk every day, whether it is morning or evening, I will go. So whether I don't need that time cue, which is helping me to form that habit. I don't need it, so it just gets in a kind of flow. I don't have that resistance which I feel as an effort. Then I'm in. I will establish. So goal is about dinacharya, daily regimen. So here you wake up 7 a.m. is to a quite late, but if it is too late, I mean too early for some people who sleep up to 9 o'clock, but generally 6 is a good time, and then you stack up, like practicing oil pulling, doing yoga for 15 minutes. It's a small goal. It's still a kind of small goal. Further, you can divide to do 7 times or 5 times sun salutation. You can make. You can pile up these 5 things together and then do it from tomorrow. Let's say you can make it even two goals or 3 goals, but ideally 5 goals is better. 3 to 4, 4 to 5 is a good place. People say, researchers say. Scientific, the specificity, it is designated to the time, because every activity has a kind of natural bio, um, how you say, cue, which can help us to move into it. So that's why that timing is very important. So when you wake up in the morning, if you do some things that makes a kind of goes in a kind of very fast flow, because the last phase of the day is vata predominant, and that pushes the kind of flow into the daily routine. For example, so there is physio uh, biophysiology, let's say, the body's physiological things, which is including neurons and neurotransmitters, hormones, and which is influencing our organ activities, including the brain, heart, and the muscles. Everything gets connected to these activities. So certain activities can be done very easily certain parts of the day. So we discussed in the morning, early morning, like let's say the first part of the early morning hours, this is vata predominant. Let's say early morning hours is vata predominant. And then what happens is, if you start in the end part of the day, end part of the night, if you start your activities, let's say first going to toilet, when you wake up early in the morning, little earlier, your nervous system, nerves which is sleeping, um, gets connected, activated, and may push the bladder out quickly, or make the movement of the intestines more faster, so that bowel movement is more easier. You don't feel that kind of friction, let's say friction, the kind of habits always undergo a kind of there is a frame, the word they use, there is a friction which happens in our brain to develop that. So that friction, if you want to avoid, you need to wake up a bit earlier than 6 o'clock and start your activities. And this is also true in the kind of modern science, that first 8 hours of your waking up, you can do the most difficult activities, more motivation needed activities, activities which needs more push. And if you do that in the first hours of your day, you will be able to succeed more to form into a kind of habit. So if you don't have a habit of walking, you can, the best time to start that habit is in the morning. If you don't have a habit of cooking, it is the best time in the morning to start this behavior, the habit of develop the habit of cooking. So that is, these are things which is scientifically proven. You can read the literature. I don't have the time to completely explain about the neurochemistry behind it. So measurable, track whether all the three activities which are completed daily. So you need to track everything which is completed daily. So at least twice in once in 2 days or 3 days, you should write down what you did last days. Or even you can make a tick mark through the people who are completely off track. You should put it into writing. Achievable, realistic in most schedules, like few of the behaviors. I'm not expecting everything in the dinacharya go in that. And then align with Ayurvedic principles of health. I told you, time bound, just for 1 month. So we will, some of the goals still I would keep explaining. Mindful eating, for example, eating each meal, chewing the food properly. You can be mindful in everything. So you can be also mindful about what you taste, chewing more, where visualizing the place where the food comes from, not multitasking, looking at the phones and the computers. People, including me, I do it, but I'm just saying, be more mindful. Share with the family, friends. Yeah, so you could um, focus on the things and avoid the distraction. 5 days a week, it should be happening, manageable with effort, and promotes better digestion and awareness about the food. It is time bound for at least 3 months, we say. So, but it's okay. Another example is herbal remedies. I will take my Ayurvedic herbal remedy, for example, if it is ginger tea or something, because some of you at least have come for consultations or something. Just I'm just saying this an example. People who don't have any herbal supplements or anything to take, just take herbal teas or stuff. Make it as a also a habit, so that the next time when you come for consultation, you will have more motivation or a kind of habit already formed to start your herbal remedies. Yes. Sleep hygiene, this is another habit which you will, you must be able to master. So this is the goal which you need to derive, is that I will establish a bedtime routine. So it can be like a bedtime routine, like I explained, herbal teas, foot massage, calming music, meditation, mantras, or chanting. It can be anything, journaling or whatever, and you pile up that again. It's as a habit, bedtime routine as a habit. Take 3 or 4 things, which are 4 or 5 things align with your values and your already existing habits. Bundle it together, chain it up, hook it together. That will go much easier together. Specific activities before the bed track activities and sleep duration realistic for most people, enhances the health and balances the vata over the next 2 months at least. Sleep patterns, if you want to develop at least some, it needs some time. So you must understand that if you have a kind of disruptive sleep, it's not that the sleep the problems with the sleep doesn't happen overnight, it doesn't happen with 1 week. It's a kind of sleep regime, or the sleep, it's a problem which accumulates over the time and it becomes bad. So, and you cannot reverse it very quickly. So it's a kind of more longer effort you need to put to make it better, the sleep to be sleep rhythm to be better. So to make a sleep rhythm better, it will take a long time. And that's why we struggled a lot in after COVID times. In COVID time, everybody lost this sleep rhythm. Everybody were awake up to 12 o'clock. They don't need to go to or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. They don't need to go to the office, so they did whatever till late night and wake up late. But then to regain that sleep rhythm, that was a big struggle. So that's what I want to emphasize on. So what to avoid: heavy food, alcohol, smoking, coffee, hard training, stress, blue light. You know this, but if you want to explain why it influences, because for example, heavy food or alcohol, it is going to increase your sugar levels, it is going to influence your body temperature, which is going to increase your body temperature, and not able to cool down before the sleep. So hard training, it is the same thing, push up the adrenalines and you will not be able to calm down to sleep. The same with the stress. So you need to unplug yourself at least 2 hours before your sleep times, from your work, from your all activities, stimulations which is around you, like phone and loud musics and stuff, so that you can sleep much better. So what you need to put up: time frame, again, strictly get up in the same time, sleep at the same time. So I say people who don't fall asleep or have a habit of sleeping very late, I say them to not to go to bed early. I say to them to wake up early. Wake up early. So instead of waking up at whether you sleep by 12 or 1, wake up by 6. Wake up by 6 or 7. Okay, let's say if you're very tired, tomorrow you will be doing some mistake in your job or driving or something. Okay, let's make it 1 hour earlier than the waking up time, current waking up time. That will push you to wake up, sorry, sleep early. So you need to start from waking up at one time, and evening walks, comfortable bed, cooler temperature, bedtime routines, relaxing bath. So little bit warm bath helps, and the room has to be cool, dark enough, not to be too much dark, but still a kind of cozy room, and cool. Yes, definitely 1 or 2 degree lower than your body temperature is a comfortable temperature to sleep. And if you develop a bedtime routine of brushing and tongue cleaning and everything, and gargling, meditation, these things are, I don't need to explain you. Stress management. This is another goal which I'm giving some examples, but still, it's a common examples, common need. That's why I'm talking around something. Stress reduction. So I will dedicate 10 minutes of pranayama and meditation for stress to reduce. So this is still small. You see, five cycles of breathing exercise, like alternate nostril breathing, or 5 minutes of 5 to 10 minutes of meditation in the morning and the evening. For example, in the morning, just visualizing a few gratitude, what you can be grateful for. Just align with your thoughts. For example, you say thank God for all the benefits, etc. You say 1, 2, 3. I say to visualize 3 things in the morning what you are thankful about, and in the evening, just once again uh, visualize all the things which you are again grateful for every day. So this is Just an example, small thing, small exercise. Focus on specific practices. It can be breathing exercise or meditation, how you want. Measurable, 10 minutes daily, manageable time commitment, supports mental clarity and stress reduction, time bound for 1 month at least. Detox. So this is another goal sometimes you can do to yourself. Last month we did a detox webinar and discussions. um, Autumn and spring is the time usually which is very common for detoxification, but of course everybody can do a kind of measurable way daily amount. Just an example is like lemon water, and this is not a generalization. Of course, I say some people you can take, some people not to take, but I'm just giving an example. Triphala, or it can be triphala or constipation, psyllium, or it can be various things for the gases. It can be digestive substances. There can be a number of detoxes, but of course, even mental detoxes works. You know, sometimes you need to work on that negative thought patterns which you develop. So that is also necessary to incorporate, but you need to find what is it exactly, and you need to plan with the practitioner. If you want to go deeper into your health condition, definitely you need to talk to someone who knows. There are n number of generalized detox materials and the plans which is available for these days. There are group detoxes which happens over the Instagram and Facebook and everything. I'm not against it. It can be just one thing. Whether it suits you or not is a kind of decision which you need to know. Maybe your health, if you don't have health problems, definitely that's a point you need to make sure. And otherwise you can definitely be part of the program. Otherwise, find a person who can determine whether this is for you or not, because every detox process is not for everyone, and it's not a detox is not something like a some like a chair which is suitable for everybody's back. So it should be specific, and it should not be so lightly taken, because it's something you are doing with your health, and you can derive negative things out of it. Because we say, especially in the case of after detox, you can get a kind of rebound of health problems, because this is what the time of vulnerability is there. Because for example, if you have a cleansing of colon, like diet, inducing a kind of couple of many times bowel movement, after that you don't have much of bacteria, healthy bacteria in your colon. You need to focus on inhabiting, reinforcing your gut bacteria, so that you have a kind of immunity which is connecting to it, so that you don't get sick immediately after your detox. This is very common to happen. Or a kind of gut problem like bacteria infection, stomach infection, very quickly happens. Because in India, for example, we make everybody do detoxes for 21 days in our hospitals, and then people go out. Indian foods are very very tasty. Of course, they are also prepared sometimes in unhygienic situations, but their gut is more vulnerable because they had the cleansing, and they get more problems. I'm giving just an example. Physical activity, I will intend yoga class. Okay, this is quite understandable, I think. So whatever you like, you try to follow. Whatever, yeah, regular checkup, Ayurveda consultation at least once in 3 months. I told you already. Hydration, hot water or herbal tea during this season, especially during the winter season. It's about daily hydration still is important. You must understand that it's not cold season, you need to have hydration. For example, inside your room you have very much of dryness. Outside your room has a lot of moisture. Inside your room, when you come inside and you breathe this dry air, makes your mucosas very dry, which can make the mucosa get very irresistant to bacteria and vulnerable, and you immediately catch the infections. So again, dry mucosa making it vulnerable to get the pathogens. At the same time, it can be also a kind of how you say allergic situations. This I experience a lot because that's but I solve it mostly doing these oil drops in the nostril. Just smear a little bit of coconut oil or ghee or 2 drops of oil in the nose. This is very helpful thing you can practice to avoid different types of nasal passage related infections and inflammations and allergies. And it lubricates, and also your hydration matters. Your amount of water you drink is important, that even your mucosa is hydrated. Otherwise skin is dry, at the same time the mucosa is dry. So don't think just hot season is the time to drink, but how much to drink, it is basically based on how good is your urination. So just look at your urine output. If the urine is clear and the output is very without any burning sensation or any symptoms, this is going to be good. Urine has to be clear, it should not be dark. Just make sure that you have clear urination. So you must be observing yourself. So being mindful is very important. Don't get stressed and forget drinking. So cannot say this. So just observe daily routines. So when we talk about daily routine, and okay, we discussed a lot in daily routine, but still sometimes my slides, yes, I frame the presentation in a kind of thought, and then when you speak, sometimes it goes in a kind of mm, yeah, in a kind of different flow. But anyway, and in this point, what I want to say is anything you do excessive, totally refrained, too much indulgence is not good. Excess, completely no. Too much or too less is not good. At the same time, improper time is not good. Doing the things in proper time, in a proper amount, is important. So whether it is in the thoughts, food, lifestyle, genetics, any kind of things, if it is in a kind of too much, too little, or improper, this is not good. So excessive indulgence, for example, nutrition, high calorie processed food, this is known thing. Substance use, sedentary behaviors, this is all understandable. Completely avoiding nutrition, this is one thing which is quite most common, people do most commonly in terms of diet. They all cut down on the calories, and then they will have deficiencies. All of them cut down the calories very quickly, and they develop a very high amount, a very strict diet plan, which is reducing the high amount of calories which you are getting now, and that will create the kind of deficiencies, or too much very high intensity exercises, no resting, so refraining from resting, that makes you lose a lot of fat. And so many times when you lose fat, it's not only fat you lose, sorry, body weight, it's not only fat you lose, it you also lose protein, the muscles, basically. So when you cut down the calories, you must remember that nutritionally you should not develop the deficiencies. Very simple example is, if you lose quickly 3-4 kgs, if a woman is losing 3-4 kgs quickly, they will have chances of developing irregularities of menstruation, or quickly menopausal symptoms getting more aggravated, because the vata is going to be high because the nutritional deficiency which happens, and that is basically from fat, which is helping you to develop the hormones, to produce the female hormones, for example. Mental health, self-denial leads to stress, anxiety, eating disorder. So you must have to care yourself. You must be compassionate to yourself. You must be no health goal, or even the New Year resolution should be harsh. That you treat yourself very harsh. So you should be in a kind of soft mental mental point of view to approach even the health goals. Social isolation, avoiding social activities can cause loneliness and affect the health a lot. So you should not withdraw yourself. So withdrawing is another trigger to develop the depression, and this happens a lot in the winter time, because you don't have basically the cafeterias which is open for alcohols and and the food. But of course, in the celebrations like New Year and Christmas helps to socialize people. I'm not promoting the unhealthy socialization like alcohol or eating all unwanted substances, but there should be. That's why we in India we have. It's a land of festivals. We have a lot of festivals, so you need to have a reason for celebration and gathering. And yes, this is, but it should be healthy gathering. It should be a good reason. It should be for some kind of positive uh, effect through it. Yes. Improper indulgence. So the improper indulgence example is circadian rhythm. So we discussed about sleep disturbances due to eating unhealthy food towards the evening. For example, high sugary stuff in the evening increases your insulin, so production of insulin, but at the same time it's not going to work very well. Later on, you will develop the insulin resistance. You will not have a good sleep because your body temperature is increased, or rather, body is not cooling down. Stress and health, unhealthy coping mechanisms worsens the health. Some people, of course, they some people just live in a kind of denial. Some people are overstressed about their health. Both are not good. It should be, yeah, balanced. Environmental context, excessive drinking alcohol and risky behaviors. Okay, lifestyle. So basically, it again, to summarize the lifestyle, it's basically eat, sleep, move activities, which is helpful for you to in a daily basis. So sleep, eat, and move. So eating balanced is very important. Amount of water is important. Moving 3 to 5 times a week is important. It is important to goals are like cardiovascular and respiratory benefits. You know, not only heart, your lungs has to be also trained. For example, yesterday I was talking to someone who has a disease of sclerosis, ALS, and what he has more difficulty is the breathing. So where the breathe, the lung muscles, the muscles in the intracostal between the ribs are getting weak. Generally, muscles are getting weak. But of course, in this case, training the lungs is also important. It's not only muscles which he needs to improve. It's your lung. It is your heart. Flexibility is important, especially with the age, and coordination. More than the flexibility, the goal is to improve the coordination, especially when we age. That is the reason why the coordination and stability, more than the coordination, is stability. People fall. So if you have a good muscle strength and a good coordination of brain muscles, sorry, neuromuscular coordination, that gives you less chances to fall, and that improves your lifespan in general. So that is another goal to improve. I'm just saying few things which you don't see. Improving the muscles, of course, you lift the weights and you see it, but some of the things I'm just saying. Sleep, you must have every day a sleep which is um, deep enough, at least 2 hours, and that is basically like a kind of slow wave sleep, we say. which is very important for our body metabolism, detoxification, improving the immune system, improving the cognitions, cleaning out the brain toxins in the brain, toxins in the brain. Toxins in the brain means many types of proteins and metabolic waste and neurotransmitters byproducts are going to be there in the brain. Over a period of time, if you don't sleep very well, you develop these memory problems and the kind of symptoms of neurodegenerative symptoms, or diseases that you can develop. You can develop Alzheimer's and all of these things. I'm not making you get anxious, but still, it's a kind of that kind of level of importance that really matters. So 7 to 6, 9 hours, or 7, let's say 8, 6 to 8, I will say one step down. It needs to have REM sleep also, rapid eye movement sleep also. So there is sleep is happening like a cycle. It's not like you sleep 8 hours. First, you go to um, first level of sleep. I forgot the name, and then comes the next level, and then comes the REM sleep, and then it goes to the slow wave sleep, and then comes again REM sleep, and then comes again uh, mid, the the state between the uh, how you say the sleep, the state, the other two phases. These four phases, phases are happening like a cycle for 90 minutes. So it means after every 90 minutes this cycle is going to happen. So if you don't sleep early, these cycles reduces. So it's not that you, when you go to bed, whether it is midnight, after midnight, your sleep cannot get these many cycles. So every cycle will have smaller time of deep sleep. That's the point I want to say. Deep sleep you will get only once in every 90 minutes. If you are not getting that cycles, many of these cycles, you will not get that kind of deep required deep sleep and rapid eye movement sleep. So this REM sleep. So so what I want to say, yes, so this you will get only if you go to bed earlier than 11 o'clock. This deep sleep you can get only if you wake up, sleep earlier. Circadian rhythm, you can read about these things. So we discuss the points actually based on circadian rhythm itself, planning your day and all these things. So just in a nutshell, I will talk about few things more because it's already 7:20. 5 minutes I will also leave for any questions if you have. 6 o'clock, wake up, have a bowel movement, brush the teeth, scrap the tongue, splash water in the face to wash, gargle sesame oil for 5 minutes, massage your gums and spitting out the oil. 6:30, asanas like exercises, light yoga, pranayama, breathing exercises. And if you have time, you can do self oil massage, that is abhyangam. And then go to bath, like shower, I mean hot water shower if you wish in the morning. Then after that you can make it as a meditation, spiritual practices. So here I'm clubbing these habits together, so one after the other, and don't make it the other side up. Don't put one above the other just in this sequence, because that has also kind of reasons. For example, the bowel movement has to be before brushing and eating, because the bacterial fluxes should not happen backwards from your gut to back. So first clean out the accumulated bacteria from your bowels down, and also mouth. So this is developing over the night, it multiplies. So first we need to clean it out. First, this multiplied bacteria which is accumulated, when you remove it, it will help you to develop a better resistance immunity, because our body is in a kind of constant fight between the bacteria and our immune system. Good bacteria support our immune system, and bad bacteria will reduce, push down our immune system. So our immunity is constantly fighting against some infections or bacterial flora overgrowth, or rather microorganism overgrowth. We have also fungi and viruses in our body. So what I want to say, we want to push down the concentration of the bacterial growth. We want to reduce the colonization, the kind of amount of bacteria we have. So that's why first things first. Everything what we say, what I said in this sequence has its reasons, but of course the time. Asanas, exercises, pranayama. So after the exercises, pranayama comes. So light exercises here, I want to say, and after that comes the oil massage. So or before the bath, if you apply the oil, that is more better, and maintain for about 30-40 minutes if possible. Meditation and spiritual practices after the bath is more helpful, which can help you to into this brain wave, which will help you to also meditate better. And after almost 1 to 2 hours after, have a breakfast, because the digestion will be doing much better. Around 10 o'clock is the time you can do the best, the things which is needed maximum attention. Maximum attention. So if you want to study something, if you want to work on some project which is very necessary for, so the melatonin drops down completely, and melatonin and serotonin peaks up. So that's the time when you can have maximum concentration. And if you want to have any snack, 2 hours from breakfast, you can have some fruits or nuts, dry fruits. 12 to 1, you can eat heaviest meal of the day, where you want to put the proteins. Salads are better during the spring and summer. During this season, you depend on have more of soups, grains, cooked vegetables, and everything, and fruits in between. So in the evening, I would still say during this cold season not to take too much fruits. If you have cold respiratory problems, definitely no. Evening walk or pranayama, if you like to do in the evening, this is good time. But of course, who doesn't have a habit of walking or exercising, it's also, there is a resistance for any of these, it will be good, you can do it in the morning. And dinner, light vegetarian meal. So in the dinner, we don't say suggest so much to take heavy meals at night. More of soups and grains. Self studies, have family interactions by evening, so that you get a unplugged status from your work. You have almost like a 5 to 9 gap, let's say 4 hours, 3 hours. You unplug so that you sleep better. 9 to 10 feet massage. This is a sleep routine. You want to develop feet massage meditation. At 10 o'clock, try to go to bed so that 11 you have a good sleep. See, you can see this melatonin is dropping by almost between 6 to 10, and it is lowest during the 10 o'clock, so you have better concentration. And in the evening you have a better coordination of the muscles and the joints and neuromuscular coordination. Lunch is the time when you can have maximum appetite. So this is also explainable based on the kapha. This is the kapha period, this is middle is pitta period, 10 to 2. 2 to 6 is vata period, where you have more flexibility, more adaptability. That the same thing happens for the overnight as well. Yeah, the sleep, you see the melatonin rising up at the highest at 11 o'clock. So if you miss it, you will not sleep very well later. So I will stop here. Let me just ask if you have any questions uh, written. Not really. So, okay, all of you are here. Okay, do you have any questions? Otherwise, thank you for being here for all the time, because sometimes I'm rushing through so that I should not be making you feel bored. But If you want to listen it again, I can send you some link. If you can ask me, you can send the email again to us, and I can send you the link. Otherwise, if you have anything to ask, you can send the you can ask an email. Okay, so I can send you slide. Okay, Steph wants to have slides. I can send you at some point. Just remind me, please. Uh, Thank you, Natalie, for kind words. Thank you, Sane, for message. Okay, so thanks a lot. I hope you had a very good new year. Once again, I wish all the best for the year ahead. And of course, expect you to come for consultations and continue with your journey with Ayurveda. So, thank you and good night.